Great. We have so much in store for you today. My name is Orlean Grant, president and founder of the Juanita C. Grant Foundation. I created the foundation in memory of my mother, Juanita C. Grant, and my father, Dr. Benjamin F. Grant, who were community activists in Gary, Indiana. And one of the things that they taught me was always to look out into the community to see what needed to be done. And in creating the foundation, what we saw was a 50 plus. And we saw that the 50 plus voice needed to be raised, especially around the issues of economic insecurity, stability, and also age-friendly community. We have a lot in store for you in just a short period of time. We have 55 vetted vendors upstairs who have full and part-time positions, and some will be hiring on the spot. So I know everybody has their resume, they have their game face on, they have their interview outfit on, and you're ready for this. First, I would like to acknowledge my board of directors. If they're in the house, if you could please stand. Okay, I have Mike Baer, Maggie Holmes, our chair, and let's see who else is there. Barton Fields and Felicia Hatton, and I think the rest of them are pretty much scattered across the board. I also like to thank our planning partners. You saw their logos earlier: Parks and Planning, Employ Prince George's, America Jobs, Memorial Library System, Visiting Angels, Senior Provider Network, Greater Mount Nebo, AME Church, Family Services CSEP and Foster Grandparents Program, and the Department of Labor Licensing Regulation. This workforce forum is a major event for the county. At any time, you will not find this type of gathering for the 50 plus. We have over 600 attending today, and we have outgrown every facility that we've been in for the past 3 years. The first year, we expected 300. That was a guess. We got 450. Today, people were lined up as of 6:45 this morning. So we know there is a great need in this county to look at the 50 plus. By 2029, baby boomers will be 65 years old, and they will be 20% of the population. Baby boomers, we are living longer. We are re-entering the job market, either entrepreneurs or in a position. And we are also dealing with many things such as grandparents, grandchildren that we have to support, adult children who come back home, and maybe adult parents that you're taking care of. We hope your approach today in looking at the 55 employers will meet your needs. We try to make sure each year we vary our employers, and this year we recruited a majority of professional positions for you based on your feedback. In introducing our keynote speakers, which I'm very happy to have here today, I met Angela Alsobrooks, the state's attorney, in 2018. We were able to convince her office to have her kick off our Elder Fraud Abuse series at the library. We weren't sure she was going to make it because it was raining, it was cold, it was an awful day, and we knew we were squeezed into her very busy schedule. But she was very gracious enough to come and was outstanding as always. One of the things Ms. Alsobrooks asked us to do was to take that series county-wide, which we did in 2019. So we are presenting 6 elder abuse fraud series in the county this year. And we're halfway through in collaboration with Parks and Planning. As county executive, we were very fortunate for her to have time in her schedule today. We believe having her here also provides an opportunity to showcase the need for this type of event, to support this type of event, and also to look at what needs to be done all during the year to support the 50 plus in employment issues. So please give a warm welcome to County Executive Angela Alsobrooks.
Good morning, everybody. I am so thrilled to be here this morning. I want to just begin by thanking Orlean so much for hosting today's event and for the beautiful legacy that she is continuing on behalf of her parents. It really is very heartwarming, and we just want to thank you for your passion and commitment and for the work that you're doing. I'm going to tell you a secret, and the secret is that this is my favorite group. And so I'm, don't let it out of this room, but the 50 and over crowd, you can be assured, are absolutely my favorite. And so I'm really, really honored to have a chance to briefly be here with you this morning. I wouldn't miss it really for anything, to have a chance to greet you this morning. I want to just say before I move forward again, one other word of thanks to Miss Grant. When she mentioned the elder abuse is how we kind of became connected a few years ago. And those who know me will know that my love for seniors comes really from a long line of folks in my family who were just everything to me, including my dear grandmother who passed a few years ago and my great grandmother. You'll hear me tell a story about each of them every time you see me. But protecting our seniors is really important to me, making sure that your welfare is always at the top of my agenda. And elder abuse was one of the ways that I had a chance to work with seniors over the last several years to make sure that all of the scams and all of the evil that has really kind of taken place now, especially as a result of the internet, would not continue to penetrate our seniors. But I want to thank Orlean Grant and her organization because they have really continued that work. And I think probably some of you, I hope, have had the opportunity to learn about some of it and to avoid some of the scams that come into homes, even my own, where we had a family member recently who thought her grandchild was incarcerated and was frantically calling around my great aunt at 93 and said we had to get this money together quickly because Jared was in a lot of trouble, and she's calling around and said she needed somebody to come get her. As a matter of fact, because you know how you all about those grandkids. She's going to the bank to get the money immediately because someone had Jared. And anyway, we called around and found out Jared was in the basement playing video games and was not incarcerated. But this is something that is happening quite a bit. If you receive that phone call saying your beloved grandchild, everybody knows how you respond to those grandchildren. I know with my parents and their grandchild. So, but anyway, I wanted to thank her for that and to say to you what a wonderful day this is, to have an opportunity to have the 55 vendors who I know can't wait to meet you, to hear from you, and to hire you, and to tell you that I understand well the anxiety that comes with having to get into the job market. But there is some good news for you, and the good news is that the statistics tell us that this is that the job market, the unemployment rate, for example, for those who are 55 and over is 3.2%. That's as of February, and that's according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And you should know that that is actually lower than the current unemployment rate of 4.1% for the entire United States population. It's about 14.4% for teens. What that means is that many of our boomers who are facing retirement and want to work really do have a wonderful opportunity to re-enter and to be involved in the job market. And I thought that was really great news. And that is not by accident. That is because of your experience. It is because of your wisdom. And these things come over time. And so you should know that you have a tremendous asset that is needed in the workforce and continues to be needed and to be sought after. And that there are those who are waiting to have someone with your skill set and your experience and your wisdom to work in their businesses. And so I hope that you feel very optimistic and feel excited today, because we certainly are. And I should tell you that I know that new beginnings also for some of you, that can be anxiety ridden as well. But we know that beginnings are exciting. And so I hope that you are excited, because we don't know yet what is waiting for you. We know that I know that many of you probably believe as I believe that God is not done with any of us, right? And so and that He is not always looking but expecting us, right, to continue to build the kingdom. And so today we are excited because we know that you still have much to offer in building the kingdom here in Prince George's County. And the reason that I started by saying you are my absolute favorite is because it's true. We are here because of you, because of so many of you. And I believe we've come a very long way because of the work that you have done. And that is the good news. The bad news is we won't let you quit yet. that that we still need you. We still need your skills and wisdom, and still need all of your intelligence that you will continue to offer to us and to these businesses as we build our communities. And so we are really just excited today. And I know she says guest speakers. I just wanted really more than anything to stop by and to welcome you and to give you also two examples of the kinds of success that this particular event has had. It's just astonishing, isn't it, really, the number of people who have come out. But I should tell you that I heard two stories in particular that were really inspiring. There was one involving a woman who was over 50 years old. She called Orlean and expressed that she really, really wanted to come to the job fair, but said she did not have transportation to get there. And because of Orlean, the foundation and many of its board members arranged to have that woman transported, not only transported to the job fair, but that we learned that she was also hired on the spot by Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission for a position with Prince George's County Parks and Recreation. And so we're excited about her story and excited about what she will offer. And the next success story was regarding a businessman, a gentleman who had worked for many years in business. He was 72 years old and decided to return to the workforce, and he had significant professional experience in the area of accounting. And as I understand it, he was really weary and was not sure that he'd be able to obtain a job in his field again. And guess what? Well, he actually also landed a job with a recruiter that he met during that forum who was looking for an experienced accountant. And he was in disbelief that he was able to obtain another position in accounting after he had been away from the workforce for many, many years. But he was able to obtain that employment. He was thrilled. The employer was thrilled. And so we know that many of those stories are waiting to repeat themselves yet again today. So anyway, I will not continue to hold you. I also want to just thank a couple of people. I want to thank Walter Simmons, who is president and CEO of Employ Prince George's County. And you haven't heard from him yet, but you'll know in a moment why we love him so. His energy is infectious. And he also, if I might say, his mother, I believe, was Under Secretary of Labor under the Obama administration. And so he also comes from a very long line of individuals who have been involved in the employment sector. And he is just on fire in terms of making sure that Prince Georgians are employed. And so we want to thank him. I know that you also have as one of your panelists, Diane James, who is project director of the Prince George's County Department of Family Services and an area agency on aging. And so I want to just also thank her for being here today. All right, so I hope that you have an absolutely amazing day. We can't wait to hear all the success stories that will come out of today's event. Just know that I continue to be well aware of the seniors in this community. Know that every day we are asking ourselves, what else can we do to make sure that you are safe and protected and that provided for? I know that you have a county executive who loves, loves, loves you and will work for you every single day. So may God bless you. Have a wonderful day. And thank you again to Orlean.
Thank you so much. We were searching for a home. As I said, we ran out of space. We ran out of parking spaces our last facility, and people were going round and round around the block and couldn't get in. But we wanted to search for some place where we could eliminate the parking situation, that we had more room for more employer exhibitors, more room to have a forum such as this to start off with, to really give you the oomph to go upstairs and interview with those prospective employers. And we were very happy that we found that Prince George's Community College during the summer was available. So we usually have this event in September, but we rearranged it to have it in August so we could have a larger space. And we are so happy to be here this year. I think you'll find it a much, much enjoyable experience upstairs with much more room between the tables for employers. So I wanted to thank Dr. Charlene Dukes for our presence here and also give welcoming remarks from the college.
Good morning. It certainly is my pleasure as president of Prince George's Community College to welcome all of you to our Largo campus. And many of you know that we are in at least 5 other sites across Prince George's County. So as you think about talking with those upstairs who are looking to hire you and make sure that you become a critical part of their workforce, don't forget about Prince George's Community College. We employ about 2,900 individuals in full-time, part-time faculty, adjunct faculty positions. And in many ways, I say that we also serve you. One, I'm glad to be here first this morning because I belong to that 50-plus group. And secondly, when I leave here, I'm going to welcome about 2,000 first-time students to the college, and many of them are your children, your relatives, your neighbors, the children of your friends. So we're just absolutely delighted that we have the opportunity to serve more than 40,000 students here at the institution. And just so you're aware, because we all work and then sometimes we want to enjoy some other things, that in the state of Maryland, if you are 60 plus, you have the opportunity to attend college free of tuition free. So that for those of you who are looking to either for a continuation of a degree or a certification, or you just want to engage yourself in lifelong learning, consider us as you think about that. And we'll make sure that there are some materials that are here so that you look at all of the programs that we offer to our seniors. We serve the largest number of seniors in the state of Maryland. So we're talking about 6,000 to 7,000 individuals every year. So please take advantage of that. And I'll end by saying, many of you may be aware that in a couple of weeks, we're going to open the Center for Performing Arts here on the campus. And during that weekend, it will be the return of the annual Bluebird Blues Festival, which is a free event to the community. So please, on September 28th, come out and join us. You'll be able to listen to and mingle with some of the greatest blues artists from across the country. And then on Sunday, if you're not doing anything, come over and join us for Avery Sunshine and the Chelsea Green Project. Now, that's a ticketed event, so that you can go online, but the Bluebird Blues Festival is our way of saying thank you to our larger community for the support that you have at this institution. And I want to thank Ms. Grant, as I said and listened, and I do what many of us do. I go out and Google and say, okay, who's coming on campus and what do I need to know about you? So I want to thank you too for the work that you do and for recognizing that we are all vital, viable, critical, and have much to give as we continue our path on this earth. And I want to thank the chair of the board, Ms. Holmes, because she's the one who called me and said, can you help us out? So please, if we can, consider this your home. Thank you all very much and have a great day.
Thank you so much. Won't we have another round of applause for County Executive Dr. Charlene Dukes? Before we start with our panel, I'm going to call up Maggie Holmes, our chair, who we are locked at the hip, and we have a special presentation.
Well, you know, we can't do this work by ourselves. And so what we want to do this morning on behalf of the board, we want to present some special award recognition to several people. I don't know if Jeffrey Sweeney is in the room, but if you could come down, please, we would greatly appreciate that. On behalf of the board, we are going to present what we call our Leadership Awards. And this morning, we are going to be presenting 3 of those awards to those individuals that have really worked with us and done outstanding work to help us accomplish this form as well as some of the other efforts that the foundation put on. And so the trophy reads, the Juanita C. Grant Foundation 2019 Leadership Award presented to Jeffrey Sweely for outstanding service and support. Thank you for making every moment count. Now, if we can have Kofi, are you in the room? Oh, yes, come right. Yes, stand right there. One for you. And then Miss Diane James. Again, we couldn't do this work without the support of the community and agencies that are also focusing on the 50 plus population. So this morning, on behalf of the board and the community at large, we want to thank these individuals for their leadership that they have presented to help the foundation to do this work for 2019. Thank you.
All right, just a few housekeeping details. When we do exit today, we're going to be exiting from the top, from the bottom. We'll have volunteers in the aisle, just like in church, and we'll be exiting row by row so everybody doesn't move at one time. It is my pleasure to have a really fast-moving, fast-paced, motivational panel. I just want to introduce our moderator, Walter Simmons, President and CEO of Employ Prince George's and Executive Director of Prince George's County Workforce Development Board. Ms. Diane James, Project Director, Prince George's County Department of Family Services, Area Agency on Aging, and head of the CSEP program. And Dr. Elise Barnes, who I got to know this year through, I won't tell you because that gives away half the thunder, President and founder of Vintage Workforce. So Walter, I'll turn it over to you.
Good morning. Good morning. Just to make sure y'all can hear me. All right. Now is the time. As our county executive mentioned, we are in a growing economy, and in our region is one of the top regions in the country for prosperity and growth. What that means is there's 163,000 jobs posted every month available to job seekers in our region. Y'all heard me? 163,000. Right? So, but the current market is a competitive market. People are looking for these jobs, and I commonly tell people in our workforce system that searching for a job is like dating, right? People laugh, but it really is. You trying to feel out if you like them, and they trying to feel like if they like you, right? And if the conversation is pretty good, they might let you in the door, right? But that's half the battle. So when I take it to the next level, I say, when you're applying for a job, when somebody knocks on your door, what do you commonly do first? Who is it? You look through the peephole. Do they look crazy? Do you recognize them? And if you don't, or they look crazy, that's when you kind of hide, don't move. You say, no, we're not doing that today. But if they look interesting, what do? You open the door. Hello, how you doing? Right? And at that point, you start a dialogue. And if it's something that you're really interested in, then what do you do next? you open the door. And that's what the employment process is. But in these days, with 163,000 jobs and people from across the country applying for jobs in Prince George's County, with the growth of our federal jobs, the growth in our region, there's a lot of people knocking on our doors. And the job of Employ Prince George's in our workforce system is to help Prince George's County residents get the most doors open. And that's why we thank the Juanita C. Grant Foundation and Ms. Orlean Grant, Ms. Maggie Holmes for their work, because they're champions for this community. This is one of the top events that we have every year, from the benefit to the community, the outreach, the effectiveness, and the performance. So I want to say thank you for having us and inviting us, and inviting Employ Prince George's. And I also want to thank the community college, and make sure that you know to take advantage of these resources. Take advantage of the community college for the occupational skills training, the free tuition. We have Heath Carlock from the Financial Empowerment Center in the back there. If you're looking for financial literacy and everything to grow your income and things of that sort, and entrepreneurship, there's opportunities there as well. You have to take advantage of your job centers, your trainings, a number of community events. And that's why I also want to say, introduce Diane James. She's already been introduced a couple of times. Again, she's the director of the Senior Community Service Employment Program, commonly called CSEP, that helps eligible workers 55 and older gain employment through providing work-based learning opportunities subsidized by the Department of Family Services, part-time employment with community service providers throughout the county, and then hoping that effort and her career readiness training can help lead them into unsubsidized permanent employment. So thank you, Ms. James. Our second panelist today, which is really going to be a great resource that I talk about all the time that we don't utilize, is Dr. Elise Barnes, who is the owner of her consulting company that focuses on how to use LinkedIn and how to help you say what you need to say, look how you need to look in person and virtually to get that door open for you. And she's a professional consultant with years of experience in her own company in helping to move that forward. So I want to thank Dr. Elise Barnes, the owner and CEO of a Certain Vintage Workforce Education Company. Thank you. So let's go right into it. We're going to provide, I'm going to ask two questions, allow them to answer it, and then we're going to have one question available for each of our panelists before we move forward and bring Ms. Orlean back up to the stage. So my first question is for Ms. James. What are the essential steps needed to navigate today's job market, and how should someone in the crowd today prepare themselves?
Okay, pretty good. Again, my name is Diane James, and I am the program director for an aging services program that helps to promote the well-being as well as the financial aspects of an older person as they try to navigate, their new culture. I work with helping them to recreate themselves within their current environment, within their new reality. And it is a work training program. To answer your questions, Walter, the very first thing a person needs to do is to reassess themselves. Think about what it is that's going on with you right now. Are you healthy? Are you taking care of someone? Is your bank account healthy? And of course, your KSAs. Do you need to improve in any particular area? Then you want to think about the things that you've done that you really enjoy. And you want to think about the things that you've done that you never want to do again. You also want to now try to market yourself by branding yourself. Have your own personal commercial. You need to develop and be able to tell someone about yourself in 30 seconds or less. Tell them, who you are and what you're about and how you can benefit them. You need to be able to actually tell them that you are someone who is a quick learner, that you're adaptable, that you have, a depth of experience, and that experience in whatever area you have that experience in. And then you can throw in a few buzzwords, like, you're able to speak to, market things and things of that nature. But then, of course, the next step would be that of actually developing a strategy and plan. Have a plan for yourself, because and actually going to activities like this today is very good in trying to get back into the workplace, as well as perhaps networking. The reason why is because although Walter talked about the great number of opportunities that are out there, only 10 to 15% of jobs are actually advertised. You don't even see them. So you want to make sure that you're able to come to events like this, and certainly to network. And when you network, of course, you want to make sure that the person that's going to be communicating your interest to someone else knows something about you more than make sure that you get that done. And then you also want to make sure that if there's anything that you need to tighten up in terms of your skills and abilities, that you take the time to get that done. You can certainly use some of the online training that's on the internet and the libraries, not the library of old, okay? Make certain that you look into that. Then, of course, you want to prospect. Dig, dig, dig. There's gold in them bare heels, okay? And you want to make sure, because a lot of organizations really don't advertise. And what they do, you want to actually go into online, look at those organizations, look at their environments, look at what they do. And then, of course, go and dig, dig, dig until you find that link that says job openings, or you might find one that says careers. Click on it. You'll find a wealth of careers there and opportunities that you can actually apply to. Now, when you apply, make certain that you gear your resume to that particular opportunity, picking up those keywords that you need to have in there. Then, of course, you want to make sure that you actually don't go back more than 10 years, okay? And I say that because a lot of times that dates you. But you say, well, the experience that they want, I did more than 10 years ago. Well, in that case, instead of having a chronological resume, have a functional resume. Speak to that experience. That way, they don't have to deal with those things they're not really interested in. And then, of course, you want to make certain that you associate yourself with quality resources like the American Jobs Center and Facebook, but of course, LinkedIn.
My second question I'm going to give to Dr. Barnes because Ms. James ended with a great resources, LinkedIn. Building your network and explaining who you are. Dr. Barnes, how can LinkedIn and LinkedIn trainings help each job seeker in here in a large crowd stand out from everyone else, build a new network, and showcase their skills and talents?
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. So glad to see you all here. I feel like an outlier because I'm from Montgomery County, but I'm really glad to be here to share some ideas with you and also let you know that if you are interested in LinkedIn training, I do free LinkedIn workshops in the Montgomery County Public Libraries. There's reciprocity between the libraries, so you can get a card, Montgomery County card, and register for the training. It is free of charge. It's a small class. You get to do hands-on because we all learn by doing. I call myself your LinkedIn driving instructor. And if you all know the driving instructor model, you are behind the wheel and the instructor is in the passenger seat. And that's the way I teach, because it's not about whizzing through these PowerPoints where you've forgotten 70% of what you saw by the time you get to the parking lot, right? It's about doing it yourself so that as you are doing it, your mind is making mental roadmaps so that you can get back after the class. If you're driven somewhere, you probably can't get back. But if you drive yourself, you can, okay? Now, LinkedIn is a wonderful, wonderful tool, but it can also be frustrating if you don't know how to use it. There are 575 million profiles on LinkedIn. It is 200 countries and 20 languages. It is an international media platform, so you can spend a lot of time spinning your wheels, and there is no magic just having a LinkedIn profile. None of us are truly unique. Somebody does what we do. Even LinkedIn trainers, there are lots of them out there. So the question is, how can you quickly distinguish yourself from all the other civil engineers, all the other project managers out there? Because in an online world, if you don't catch my attention within the first 5 to 7 seconds, I'm going to swipe to the next one, right? So it's easy. I'm going to move on, okay? So if your headline and your profile and your about section, which is the summary, says 25 years of professional work experience, all you've told me is that you're old and you worked. And I'm not going to pay you for that. Okay? So what I really want to know is, what are you really good at? What are you so good at that I'm willing to pay you for it? Right? This is your online commercial that will get me to then connect with you and say, send me your resume. Right? I want to know more about you. You look very interesting. And I want to share, one of my favorite people is a woman who took my class named Sophie Amer. And Sophie works in the religious philanthropy field, like Catholic charities and things like that. Okay, and that's where she was looking for a job. She knew her niche, where she wanted to work, her happy place, right? So her headline reads, nonprofit administrator with an organizer's precision and a servant's heart. Okay? She's speaking their language, right? In her field, they know exactly what that means, right? So she's already saying, I'm one of you. Open the door. Okay? Just as Mr. Simmons was talking about, how can you let them know that you're not a stranger? And that's why having a photo is so important. I know 50 plus people say, do I really need a photo? They'll see my gray hair. Okay? First of all, you don't want to work for someone that's so shallow, they're going to decide whether to hire you or not based on what your hair color is. But more importantly, it's all about, can you give me the best service at the best price? And then I don't really care what you look like, right? So Sophie's headline, as I said, talked about her organizer's precision and her servant's heart, which is wonderful and soft. And her picture looks like somebody you want to hug every morning. But when you saw her about section, her summary, it talked about how she did virtual meeting management and full-scale logistics and complex document creation and data management. And that's what every organization needs, no matter who they're serving, okay? So you really want to promote your skill set. What problem can you solve for your next employer? LinkedIn, and one of the biggest misperceptions about LinkedIn is that it's your resume and a photo. It is not. Your resume is entirely backward looking. It is simply a list of what you've done for your previous employers. When I come to LinkedIn, I want to know what you can do for me as your potential next employer. I don't care what you did for them. I want to know, what can you do for me? Okay? And are you any good? That's the most important trick with LinkedIn. So I hope you will avail yourself of getting some training to make sure that you stand out from those 575 million LinkedIn profiles.
How many of you know somebody you're sitting next to, or know somebody in the room? Right? How many of you all like the people you sit next to? Okay. Now I'm gonna tell you this. just what what our two panelists just said, I tell a lot of people when it comes to job fairs and hiring events, and what they just said was, and to kind of paraphrase what they just said is, when you walk into a job fair and hire event, no more friends. Look to the person to the left of you. Now look to the person to the right. Because it's your job when you go in, if that employer is going to hire one person today, you want it to be you. So the question is, how are you differentiating yourself from everybody else in this room? So that's what you got to think about. When they go home and they search you, what do they see in your profile, in your resume, that they are not going to see in anybody else in this room? And you got to think about that. So we have a little bit of time for one question, two questions. One question, two questions. Ma'am in the middle right here. You want me to do it, or you want to? Go ahead. Okay. So I would say that commonly happens with me in my field. But this goes to what our panelists talked about of using research and what I said about matchmaking. Commonly, I always interview someone older than me, right? But you know what? I'm selfish, right? We're dating. I'm always looking for, I want people smarter. I want people that are talented. Nobody wants to hire a bad staff member. The question is, are you telling them something that's going to help them grow? So have you researched their department? Have you researched them on LinkedIn? Do you have a skill set that the department or the company needs that you might not have seen in their LinkedIn? And you don't necessarily go directly and say, well, I saw you didn't have 25 years of experience in this field. But what you do say is, I see that you all bid on government contracts. I did 5 years of procurements in the government, and I uniquely know the process that procurement officers are looking for when they're sourcing for businesses or service providers. I feel like that is something I can bring to this department or this company. And that person might sit there and go, well, yeah, they don't have that experience, but could you help them get a contract that the president is going to say, oh, we need you to promote them? And commonly what happens is when that person grows, they're going to keep that person next to them that's helping them. They're going to say, oh, we need to promote Miss Maggie too, please. You need to give her a job. So I think a lot of times you have to research and look at, not worried about, well, how do I not outshine? How do you use your internal shine to help them or the company grow? What benefit do you bring? One more question. All right, if we don't have any more questions.
Can I just add one thing?
Go ahead.
One of the benefits of being on LinkedIn is being proactive. The information that you need to know most about a job is never in the job announcement, right? Is this company about to be acquired? Is this job not filled because the manager is toxic? Have they had a lot of turnover recently? Okay. LinkedIn allows you to find and connect with people who work at those companies so you can get that information. Okay. Because for most of us, we don't have time to step into a bad situation and then have to work our way out 6 months later. Okay. So you need to tap into the hidden job market. I say if the only person looking for a job for you is you're never going to find it. Most of us got our jobs through referrals. Somebody told me about it, okay? Somebody knew. So the best way to get a job, I say, is for the person who would be your immediate supervisor to walk your resume down to HR and say, I want to hire this person. That completely reverses the function of HR from weeding you out to bringing you in, right? The second best way is for somebody who already works at the company to walk down to HR and say, I know Susan, she's awesome. I know we're looking for somebody who does what she does. I think she'd be great, okay? They're vouching for you. They're putting their reputation on the line for you. That will get you an interview if nothing else, okay? But how do you find those people? You find them on LinkedIn because the friend of my friend is my friend, right? And they're going to funnel, and it's so easy to help somebody find a job nowadays because all you have to do is hit forward. If something comes across my email, I'm just going to forward it to you. I don't have to lick a stamp, get an envelope, make a phone call, nothing. Just hit forward, okay? So again, that's what LinkedIn brings. It allows you to find those people who can vouch for you so you're just not another piece of paper. Because companies hire people. They don't hire pieces of paper, right?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us anything about Amazon and your relationship with them coming into this area?
I cannot.
Why not?
I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know anything about Amazon moving into the county. Try to get me fired. Well, I can't take any more questions because I want to get everybody out to those employers who are waiting on you. So I want to bring back up Ms. Orlean Grant. Thank you. And thank you to our panelists.
Okay, that brings us to the end of our program, and let's give another round of applause to our panel.